during a trip to Langson. Rumour has it that Uncle Din also played around and got hurt. His aunt was 3 years old that year and I was 17. She was very beautiful, the mature beauty of a single mother. She was from the lowlands, so her gait was extremely graceful. I ran across the fence and jumped straight into the yard. I didn't see Miss Owen, I only heard her calling, "Arthur, save me." I checked the toilet and bathroom, but she wasn't there. I heard her calling from behind the house, "Arthur, save me." I ran to the back of the house, to the banana bushes, and it turned out Miss Owen had slipped and fallen in the well. It was hot and there was no one around, so she came here to cool off. Uncle Din had passed away this year, so Miss Owen was raising Uyen alone. Today, Uyen went to play with her grandparents in the next neighbourhood. The woman, who was over the age of 18, was lying on the floor of the well, naked. Honestly, seeing this situation made me feel uneasy. This was the first time I had seen a woman's genitals, but it was just a fleeting feeling, because saving people was better than putting out a fire. "Miss, are you okay? Let me take you inside." "Arthur, help me, I slipped and fell and dislocated my joint," Miss Owen cried out. The reason she fell was because she accidentally stepped on the slimy substance she left behind after she took care of herself. How ironic. I helped her into the house. I didn't dare to breathe heavily, trying to forget about her place. While helping her into the yard, my man started protesting, making both Owen and I blush. Owen looked at me and smiled, and I didn't know where to hide my face. The two of us went into her bedroom. The older sister said to me, "My dear, my legs hurt so much. Please go to the porch to get me some clothes." I was old and ran out to the porch. While I was struggling, Aunt Owen called out, "Please get me some pants too." I blushed, said yes softly, and brought the red pants to her. She was so indifferent. "Thank you." "Yes, it's okay. I'm going home now." Waiting for Aunt Owen to call out, "It's raining too much and you're all wet. You'll catch a cold if you go home. Go take a bath. I'll give you some of my uncle's clothes to wear for now." Honestly, I didn't know what to do. There was nothing to eat when I got home, so I'd better stay here and maybe she'll invite me to dinner. "Yes, I'll go home and cook dinner." "I've cooked dinner. Go take a bath and then come out to eat with me. I'm sad being alone." My brother told me, and then bowed his head as if he was about to cry. The scene of women is too sad in this remote place. I went into the bathroom and came out. When I came out, Ms. Owen had already finished serving the meal. She also left 2 bottles of Hanoi beer. Ms. Owen was now wearing a very short tank top. Her large, full bust was visible underneath. The red shirt was really impressive. She smiled and invited me. "Come eat. There are stir-fried bean sprouts and duck eggs. Thank you for helping me." "No, it's nothing. We're neighbours who help each other in times of need." My brother smiled and teased me. "When we're in times of need, we help each other in times of need," my brother said, and blushed, looking at me. "I'm sorry. It's because you're so beautiful that I couldn't control myself." Miss Owen smiled and said, "Okay, she's still young. Just call me sister. I don't like you protesting like that just now." "Yes, my dear. I'm sorry. My sister and I finished the meal. Each of us had 3 bottles of cold beer with 2 duck eggs." Honestly, that was the first time I drank beer. It was so great. When I was a little drunk, I didn't even bother to think about it anymore. Looking at Owen now, only as small as a tiny leaf, everything seemed to be possessed by a demon, making my eyes dizzy. The spring scene kept lingering in front of me. Owen sat next to me and whispered, "Arthur, I've liked you for a long time. My husband died and I'm so lonely. Can you help me tonight?" Sister Owen said with tears in her eyes. I felt so sorry for her. She was so beautiful but lacked marital affection. Then I nodded immediately. She led me into her bedroom. She appeared like a white and pink lily, a scratch on her private part, like a young cloud fluttering in the wind. It was already soaked with water. My first time was taken away like that by her. During that year of 12th grade, my sister and I did it many times, mainly at her house. Life went on like that. There were a few girls in my class who liked me, but I had no need. In bed, Oan was very attentive to me, in every position, in every way, especially the singing and playing of the flute and the two-stringed fiddle. She did it very well and professionally, making me fascinated. From then on, my habit of flying a plane was formed. I liked older women the most. One thing was being able to do husband and wife things with her. So much joy. And from then on, Oan no longer solved her own needs. She looked more and more beautiful and attractive, attracting the men in the village. But she said she only liked me. When you go out to work, don't forget me. I will wait for you to come back. When in need, wisdom is born. My family is poor. If we stay in the countryside all year long, no matter how hard we work, we will have enough to eat. But if we are rich, we have no chance. As a person, we have to change. We have to have dreams. We have to have the will to rise up to change our lives. I was determined to go to the city to both study and work. The day we parted, Oan and I cried. I cried too. I didn't want to leave her. Then I asked my parents' permission to go to work. Oan drove me to the bus station. It was getting dark. She and I ate at a cheap coffee shop, then found a motel to rest temporarily, waiting until 1 a.m. for the night bus. That time, Oan and I did 3 shots in a row. We were exhausted. Oan always needed to relieve her pressure. She said, "You just go to Hanoi to study well. Then if Uyen grows up a bit, I will send her to her grandparents and go to Hanoi to work. Then we will be happy again." She gave me a long kiss and tears in lieu of words. My sister and I choked up as we said goodbye. It was true that we got on the bus, but my legs were still shaking, kicking 3 times in a row. No one could stand it. I fell asleep. The bus rolled from Yenbai City bus station to Saidong Industrial Park. I left my hometown behind so I could find my own path in life. I applied for a motorbike repair apprenticeship near an industrial park, studying and working at the same time, so I was only paid 3,000 VND in allowance, but that was not important. The important thing was to learn the trade, because someone as ignorant as me would never dream of going to university, and I was clueless about knowledge. But I was very quick at learning the trade. Even though I had only been an apprentice for 3 months, I was already proficient in motorbike repair. And my boss loved me, who increased my salary to 5,000 VND and encouraged me a lot. Then I rented a room right next to the apprenticeship. I have lived in this dormitory for 3 months, but I have not met anyone. When I come home from work, I close the door and sleep, and in the morning I go out again. Occasionally I drink with my colleagues. Next to my dormitory there is a couple. The husband works 2 weeks of the day shift and 2 weeks of the night shift, while the wife only works the day shift. Today is Saturday. I got to go home early, so I went out to hang the clothes in the yard. When I entered, I saw the girl in the next room coming home from work. I have noticed this girl for 3 months now, but have not had a chance to talk to her. Looking at the girl next door, I miss Oan in the countryside because she looks similar to me. What makes me feel uneasy is when I see her wearing a thin uniform while hanging clothes. Today, when I saw her coming home from work alone, I mustered up all my courage to nod, smile, and talk to her. "Hello, did you just come home from work?" "Yeah, did you come home early today too?" "Yes." "Where is your husband?" "Why did you come home from work alone?" "He works for another company, so he hasn't come home yet. I asked my friend's child to go to work, so I came home with him so I could come home earlier than him." "Yes, I thought you two worked together. What are your names?" "My name is Avery, and my husband is Arthur." What about you? My name is Arthur. You're from the Northwest too, right? Yes, you and your wife are from Lao Kai, and I'm from Yen Bai. We've been here for 3 months now, right? Okay, come in and make some dinner. I'll talk to you later. Sister Avery had finished bathing and was cooking. I smelled the fragrance, so I walked past her room and saw her wearing a cool summer outfit. The clothes were thin. She had a tattoo on her back. I teased her. Wow, what did you cook? That smells so good. Let me eat some too. Come in and eat with you and your husband. Thank you, I just finished eating. I finished speaking and went out to get the clothes that were drying in the yard and went into the house. I felt very uncomfortable when I saw Sister Avery's hot beauty. She was about 1.67 tall, slim, but every room was extremely full. I thought she must be a single mother. Only single mothers could be that beautiful. Around 6 p.m. I finished showering and went out to hang clothes to dry when I saw Avery's husband washing the car. So I started talking to him to see how he was doing. I went out to hang clothes. He saw me and nodded. I smiled back. He nodded again and I asked, "Can I go home early on Saturdays?" "Yes, I work for your company and I always go home early on Saturdays." "Do you work for the company too?" "Yes, I'm learning a trade. I've only been here for 3 months." "What's your name so I can address you?" "My name is Arthur from Yen Bai." "My name is Arthur from Lao Kai. Do you know how to play billiards?" "Yes, I know a little bit." "Come over to have dinner with you and your wife later. There's some delicious hot pot. After you eat, you and I will go out to play a few games. I'll treat you. To be honest, I really like playing billiards." "Yes, thank you." "I also like to eat hot pot with fish sauce. Okay with you. Don't be shy about being from the same hometown. The dormitory is full of people from the lowlands. Luckily, I met you from the same hometown in the Northwest. I really like you." While we were eating, I felt embarrassed when Avery looked at me. She only paid attention to me. I didn't know what was so special about me that she looked at me like that. I also boldly looked at her again. To be honest, she looked a lot like Oan from the countryside. A very pretty and charming face, a flirtatious look, plump breasts, and white, slender legs. After eating, I helped her wash the dishes and went to play billiards. While playing billiards, Arthur and I talked about many things. Only then did I know that Arthur and Avery had 2 children. The older daughter is 5 years old, the younger son is 3. They have been here for over a year. Arthur is 35, and Avery is 30. Avery is 11 years older than me. Even though she is older and has 2 children, I still think she is as young as an 18-year-old girl. The following Monday, I got off work at 7 o'clock in the evening, went home to shower and hang out the clothes when I saw Ms. Avery coming home from work. I saw her and started a conversation with her. "Hello, have you just come home from work?" "Yeah, I've been working all day and I'm exhausted." "Ms." Avery opened the door and sat down in front of the door. I saw her and confided, "I'm also exhausted, but I've come here so I can't leave halfway. You still have children, so no matter how tired you are, you can't give up." "Do you have a wife or children, Arthur?" After hanging out the clothes, I stood close to her and talked. I looked at her loose t-shirt, which made it easy for me to see inside her shirt. She was wearing a pink bra and her white, bulging pussy. I felt so uncomfortable when I saw that image, but luckily I could hold back today. I replied to her, "I came here alone. I don't even have a boyfriend, let alone a wife or children at this age." Lynn heard me say that and said, "Well, you're good. Try to work hard on your own. If you have money and a career, it's not too late to fall in love. Spending it early and getting married early is also very hard." "Yes, thank you." "Oh, but I see that you and your husband are happy like that." "Looking at you like that, what's the matter, my dear?" "Your husband is rude and short-tempered. loves to eat, drink, and play billiards. Now that you have 2 children, your husband and wife are bland. Oh, you already have 2 children, but you still look delicious. I think you're still very beautiful. Avery laughed when she heard me say that. You have 2 children, my dear. My husband still complains. You're just joking with me. I'm telling the truth, but you're really beautiful. Has your husband been working overtime these past few days? No, he's been working the night shift this week. You work 2 weeks of the day shift and 2 weeks of the night shift. So you and I must miss each other a lot after 2 weeks apart. Miss what? I might not even call you for a whole week. Why would I miss you? Come inside. I saw that she was sad, so I felt sorry for her. So I asked, "Can you give me your Zalo number? We can chat when we're sad." "Yes, here's my QR code. Scan it." Avery and I became friends on Zalo like that. That's all, but we haven't texted or talked to each other for the whole week. Saturday came again, 7 p.m. Her husband went to work, saw Arthur, had left. I sat in front of the door, texting her. "Sister, have you slept yet?" "No. Is something wrong?" "No, I was just texting to have fun." "Sad? What's wrong? Tell me." "I'm so lonely that I'm sad." Oh my gosh, even though the female friends in the company go to a coffee shop or go to the park. You're so handsome if you ask. There will be a lot of girls following. You've exaggerated. So should I invite you to a coffee shop? Are you going? It's only past 7, so go. Are you scared of me? If a handsome guy invites you to a coffee shop, why not go? I'll wait for you to hang out the clothes first and then go. I smiled and asked back, "But if you go with me, will your husband be jealous?" "See, are you scared? Don't worry, I don't care what you do. You and your husband trust each other." "Okay, why would you go with me? You're going with the girl I'm trying to matchmake for you." In my heart, I thought, "I like you. Who needs you to introduce me?" I replied, "Okay, sister, more friends are more fun. If we're meant to be together, we'll get together." Sister Avery's friend is a girl from Tai Bin, working at the same electronics company, named Kue, only 19 years old, pretty, but I don't know why I like Sister Avery's beauty and maturity. At first, we planned to go drink milk tea, but later, Kui wanted to eat snails on the sidewalk, so we stopped by a snail shop on the side of the road, and because we were in the mood, we ordered beer to drink. We talked and learned more about each other. After a few beers, Avery told me, "Stop, I'm drunk." Kui wasn't drunk yet, so Kui and I drank 2 more bottles. Avery sat down to eat and couldn't drink any more. Now all 3 of us wanted to get drunk. Avery wanted to go to the park for a walk and come home late. Kui left first because her mother called. As for us, Avery and I went for a walk together. In the deserted park, it was almost 10 o'clock at night. Only couples were still in the park at this time. After walking for a while, I boldly grabbed Missy, Avery's hand. She gently pulled her hand back, but I held it tightly. Looking up at her face, I saw her secretly smiling as if she was enjoying it. I saw that Avery didn't say anything, so I just held her hand like that and walked. When we reached a stone bench, she sat down to rest her feet. Suddenly, Mrs. Avery sat close to me and leaned on my shoulder. Her light, fragrant perfume made me infatuated. Miss Avery still didn't say anything, just smiled and looked up at the vast sky filled with thousands of stars. I suddenly saw the image of that girl appear. Why does Ms. Avery look like Ms. Oan in the countryside? Then my male instincts arose. I thought I would give up without even blinking. Sister Avery said, "It's been a long time since I went for a walk, remembering the time when Arthur and I used to go out together. When we had money, we ate a lot. When we didn't have money, we ate less and laughed happily. But now they're just memories. We look like lovers, don't we?" I smiled shyly. "Yes, I'm also very happy today, like the first time I took my girlfriend out." Sister Avery turned to look at me. I looked at her. Our eyes met without saying anything. Under the influence of alcohol, our lips found each other's. She and I kissed passionately. The two of us were playing around when suddenly she stopped. Her lips left mine. She said, "I'm drunk. I can't stand it anymore. It's late. Let me take you home." I took her home. She sat behind me on the motorbike. She was silent. When we were almost at the motel, Sister Avery told me to stop quite a distance away so she could walk in. She was afraid people would look at her. We just went there and stopped, that was all. I also could not believe that Avery and I would come so quickly. We had not yet expressed our love, but perhaps because of the loneliness in her heart, she could not control herself and kissed me today. Maybe it was also partly because we were drunk. But anyway, this would be a big turning point for me and her. The woman who looked like the girl I loved back home. A little while after I got back to my room, I texted Avery, "Good night." Avery saw it, but didn't reply. That night, I remembered the intimate moment at the park and couldn't sleep. Avery wasn't any worse, as she later said that she had to shower twice before she could sleep. Maybe she missed her husband, or maybe she missed me. Early the next morning, she texted me back, "Good morning. Please don't tell your brother about yesterday. I remember I must have had a little beer in me, so I couldn't control my actions. Don't worry. I'm not the type of person who can take everything on himself. What happened yesterday was because I was drunk. It was just a small matter, don't worry." Avery thought for a moment and then texted me back, "Arthur, I'm so sad. Why are men so mean? When we first met, we loved each other passionately, but after getting married, our feelings faded, and we no longer cared about each other. Why?" "Sister, not all men are like that. Are you upset about your husband? Can you confide in me?" "Your husband is very inconsiderate. We don't have feelings for each other anymore. He's always grumpy and rude. It's not like when we first fell in love. I want to rekindle our relationship, but he's so inconsiderate. I'm probably busy making a living. I sympathize with Arthur. He's busy drinking and having affairs, not with you. Now my heart is so lonely and sad. When I heard her say that, I encouraged her. Don't be sad anymore. I will be the one to make you happy in the future. Have you had breakfast yet?" "No." "Then let me take you out for breakfast. I'm about to come back another time. I'll go to the market to buy food." "Yes, bye, I like you." Avery texted back with a smiley face and a heart. She left and returned. The couple finished eating and drinking. It was almost noon. Avery replied to me, "Don't say that. I have a husband and children, and we have an age gap, so I don't want to have that wrong feeling." I didn't reply to her. It wasn't until Monday evening that she texted me, "If you're free, take me to the supermarket to buy some things." I agreed right away. After buying things, I also bought 6 bottles of fruit wine. I took her to the embankment to sit and enjoy the breeze. Avery and I opened the fruit wine to drink again. "Who wouldn't like you as beautiful as you are? It's normal for me to like you. Why did you react so strongly?" Avery said, "There are so many couples who go to Hanoi to work and then have affairs. Avery has had tragic kisses and all sorts of things. Many people in the company also made advances on me, but I didn't accept. I still love my husband very much, but because my husband is heartless, I'm sad." I winked at her to encourage her. "Cheer up. It's natural for husband and wife to have feelings at times like this. Don't be sad. Try to take better care of yourself, okay?" She suddenly leaned into my arms. I knew she needed a real man. I kissed her hair. "Don't worry, let's take you home, or else the food will spoil." Avery stood up and turned around to say, "It's late. Let's go home. I'm married. I can't." "I confess that I've liked you for a long time. I know it's wrong, but I really can't forget your image in my mind." Avery stood up and flirted with me. I didn't know what she meant, but I took her home. This time she sat on the back of the motorbike and hugged me like a real couple. I knew she probably lacked real feelings. When I got back to my room, I helped her bring things in. Before leaving, I passed by her and was surprised to kiss her on the cheek. She didn't react at all, but she looked at me and smiled, seeming very pleased. Avery and I were like that. When her husband worked the night shift, we made plans to go out for milk tea, go to the supermarket, and occasionally got close to each other, like holding hands and kissing on the cheek. When her husband worked the day shift, we texted and talked to each other. Her husband often invited me over to eat and drink together. In fact, Arthur didn't care or pay attention to his wife at all. One day, while I was cleaning the attic, I discovered a small hole in the wall that could be seen through Avery's room. From then on, I started to have the idea of peeking at her through this gap. That night, I decided to observe her from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Through the gap, I saw her wearing a cream-coloured nightgown and walking upstairs. I was extremely lucky because she and her husband slept upstairs, so I could easily observe the things I wanted. Avery lay facing away, and the goods were brought to my room, and in a flash, her belongings disappeared. Oh my gosh, her thing was so plump and pink, it seemed like it was still wet. I was like a lost soul and texted her, "Sister, have you slept yet?" "Oh no, I've been talking to my child on the phone." "So have you eaten anything yet?" "I've eaten. Why haven't you called your husband?" "God, he's so boring. Sometimes I want to call him and talk to him." "Great, your story is detailed and dramatic. Here is a spelling and grammar fix that keeps the content of your script intact, while adding a few small details to make the story more vivid and engaging." Fix. But he scolded me like, "What's wrong with you? If there's nothing, don't call anymore." When I called during the day, he said, "You're not working at the company, calling nonsense. You've been humiliated by the officials, so I don't want to call anymore." I said, "You must be worried about me. If you don't talk to me, I'll talk to you." At that moment, the wind from the fan blew from below, making her skirt flutter. Oh, why did that thing of hers make me so uncomfortable? I texted, "Sis, I haven't gone out with you for the past few days. I miss you so much." She ignored the fluttering skirt. She kept texting me, "If you keep saying you miss me and love me, I won't talk to you anymore." I was so relieved. "Okay, sis, but why do I still like you?" She texted me back, "Stop liking Kue. She's not married yet. I have a child and a husband. Don't be like that." I was so high that I lay down and said, "If you like Kue, then say so. Why say you like me? I don't have any feelings for Kue." "Stop leading me down a sinful path. Let's put that aside. Let's go out this weekend." "Okay, I'm going to bed. Good night." A few days later, I kept searching online for a mini camera to secretly film her room. Standing there watching like that made my legs tired. I bought a hidden camera, installed it, and monitored her every move. Today is Sunday, the same time Avery's husband switched from the night shift to the day shift. I lay on this side, opened my phone, and waited. Around 9 p.m, Avery went upstairs first, as usual. She didn't wear any underwear when she went to bed. Arthur went upstairs later, wearing only shorts. He lay down, and the two of them talked while playing on their phones. Arthur said, "Haven't you missed her for 2 months? You used to get excited and just burn yourself out when you saw her." Avery said, "I'm bored. You always let your wife crave you and take the initiative. You don't care about me. You haven't asked me a single question all week. Watch out. One day I might go after someone else." Arthur, hearing that, said, "Oh, if there was a ghost who would want you, you already have 2 children. You act like you're delicious. Go to sleep." I saw Avery's eyes filled with tears. Arthur, who was a little drunk, fell asleep and didn't know what was going on. Avery covered her face and cried. A woman with children. Now her youth is gone. Her husband neglects her. She doesn't care anymore. It's really hard for her. I saw that her situation was very similar to Oan's situation in the countryside. Oan's husband died early, and she was in need, while Avery had a husband, but he was indifferent, so it was like having nothing. If only society allowed it, I would marry those two girls. I was thinking about the two girls for a while when I fell asleep. The next day, her husband went out. I saw her go to the grocery store to buy things. I teased her. Yesterday, your husband must have been very happy. You know, he walked a little differently this morning. She said, You're a bit rude. Are you angry? If you're angry, then be angry. But if I hate you, why do I hate you? Are you jealous of my husband? I'm nothing to you. Why are you jealous? I'm going to drink to forget my sorrows. It's not good for me to hang around too much. I'm nothing to you. You don't need to worry about me. After saying that, I left the bar. After drinking, I turned on the camera to check her room, but there was nothing to see. She and her husband just talked about random things and then fell asleep. Tonight, Avery took the initiative to approach her husband, but Arthur did not touch her at all, and her husband did not satisfy his needs. I saw that Avery was very sad. Her eyes were filled with tears. Then Avery texted me, asking to go out for crab noodle soup tomorrow. The next day, Avery and I went out for dinner as usual. Nothing happened because I was still angry with her, and most of all, I loved her very much. On Saturday, Avery came home early. Arthur went out drinking with friends and came home late. Avery opened the door. She wasn't wearing a nightgown today, but only a thin, short shirt. Arthur, upon arriving home, saw his wife dressed coolly and became excited. Avery looked at her husband without saying anything, waited for him to bring the bike in, then went upstairs first. Arthur, after taking a shower, went upstairs with his wife. It seemed like Arthur wanted to be close to his wife today. I was worried again. Avery turned off the room light and turned on the night light. The light was pink. I saw her extremely beautiful. Each part was so fresh. Then Arthur, answering back and forth, immediately entered the battle. After about 2 minutes, Arthur went down to take a shower. I saw a hint of sadness in her. Maybe Arthur was really weak, not enough to make her ecstatic, which is what every mature woman desires. Especially the indifferent, bland actions. Ignoring each other between husband and wife will be a valuable opportunity for a third person to intervene. Today is payday. I went out to eat with some colleagues. When I got home, I saw that I was drunk, so I texted you. Did you just come back from drinking? You just had a few beers with your colleagues. Aren't you going out? Today is payday. I'll wait for you to come home and go out with you, so I'll pack some instant noodles. Have you showered yet? Why don't you eat? Come on, cook some rice and bring it over for me. How can I have the energy to eat instant noodles? I don't want to eat anything. I just want to eat you. I'm not kidding. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I turned on the camera and saw that she had gone upstairs to lie down. She still had the habit of not wearing protection when sleeping. I texted her teasingly, I miss you so much. Take a picture of me now and show me. She took the picture and sent it to me. Now it's my turn to send it. I sent her a picture back. Do you want to continue describing this action in detail? Please note that sharing provocative images is inappropriate. She looked at it without saying anything and said, Oh my God, what did you send me? I deleted it. If it's something stupid, I'll tell you. I said, It's mine. It's small. I'm sending it to you to prove it. She texted back with a smiley face. Go find some single girls to date. Why text a married woman? I like it when she's miserable for both of us. I accept everything, so you don't need to care. I asked her, "What do you think of mine?" When I asked, I looked at the camera and saw that she seemed to be holding a phone in one hand, and the other hand seemed to be relieving herself. I asked again, "How is yours? Is it as good as your husband's?" At this point, I looked at the camera and saw that she seemed to be continuing. She replied, "You're so rude asking all these nonsense questions. I'm just shy." I said, "Sister, I wish I could be close to you." I looked at the screen again, and oh no, her pussy seemed to be very wet. She whispered, "I won't go out with you any more." I asked again, "Why?" She was afraid because we kissed. She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to control herself anymore. She was afraid of doing something wrong to her husband. I sent her another photo. "It's the 21st century, it's the 4.0 era. Do what you like. Just like I like you, I will try to conquer you. Let me melt your frozen heart." Avery didn't text back, so I looked at the camera. Oh no, it's over. She was dozing off. A puddle of water soaked the sheet. At this time, Avery had passed her daze, picked up her phone and texted me. "I fell asleep just now. I thank you for your love, but please give me some time. I love you too." I knew she was sad, so I texted her back. "Sleep well. See you in your dreams. I love you." After sending her some of my pictures, it seemed like she was mesmerized by my toned, six-pack beauty. The next day after work, I was cooking rice when she texted me, "What are you doing? Do you want to eat snails tonight?" I was so happy that I texted back right away, "Let me change my clothes." "Why change? Just leave it the same as yesterday." "Yes, sister, so you're coming over." Just teasing me. Are you crazy? Her husband is working the day shift today, don't you remember? "Oh, so you missed me, so you texted me." I was walking home sadly when she said, "Arthur, you won't be home until 8 o'clock. Let's go now." I forgot. Okay, I'll wait. Sister Avery went home first and walked slowly waiting for me. When I saw her, I turned off the lights, parked the car in the bushes and lured her in. I hugged her. "Sister, I miss you so much. Don't care if someone I know sees me. Let's go eat hot pot. Your husband came home at 8 o'clock. It's already 7 o'clock. Can't we make it home in time?" Without letting her say anything more, I placed a kiss on her lips. She said, "I had to work overtime suddenly until 10 o'clock to get home. I was so tired, so I took the opportunity to go have dinner." Then we walked close to each other. There seemed to be something unusual and secret. Sister Avery was embarrassed and blushed as she quickly left. "Let me put on my mask first." I waited for Avery to go to the hot pot restaurant. She chose to sit at a hidden table in the corner to minimize contact with people. She was afraid of meeting acquaintances. I ordered a bottle of Korean wine to drink. The wine was delicious and easy to drink, but it made me drunk easily. Avery said, "It's your fault. Why did you give me wine?" She said, "Let's go for a walk in the park and then tell you something." We walked around the park for a while. She chose a bench in a dark place, and we sat down to talk. Avery texted her husband that she would be working overtime until 10 p.m. He looked at it and didn't say a word, not bothering to reply. She mumbled, "If you ask, just ask casually." Avery felt sad. I saw that and encouraged her. "Put your sadness aside and cheer up. If he doesn't love you, there will be someone else." As soon as I finished speaking, I kissed her lips, and she responded passionately to my kiss. During the climax, she said, "Let's go home. It's late. My husband is calling." She quickly answered the phone and said, "What do you need?" "Yes, I'm on my way home. I'll stop by the noodle shop for some noodles." The conversation only lasted about 30 seconds, but I had already finished 2 bottles of milk. She said, "Oh my God, why are you so brave? I was on the phone. It was almost over." "When you like me and you're good, I'll love you later." Then she said, let's go home, it's late. I drove her home. She sat on the back of my motorbike. The two of us were like a real couple. While we were driving, she said, "Oh my God, you're so naughty. I'm the same, and my thing is all wet. It's your fault. I didn't do anything to you, and you're in the middle of the park." We chatted for a while, and then got home. I texted her, "Text me when you get back to your room." She texted back, "Go to sleep. I'm going to take a shower." I replied immediately, "Sister, let me see your goods." "No, don't be like that. I'm going to the bathroom." I sent her a picture. She brought her phone into the bathroom and texted, "Are you crazy? My husband is home. If you send it like this, I'll be done with you. Don't you love me? Show me yours. I'm so uncomfortable. I can't sleep, sis." After texting and begging so many times, she finally took a picture for me. "Oh my God, stop. I'm going to the battery. Stop texting randomly." I texted back, "So beautiful. I like you from that night." I turned on the camera and saw her lying down looking at her phone. Maybe she was watching the videos I sent. She texted, "You're so naughty, always sending things for free. I'm telling you the truth. Which guy isn't like that? Every time I think of you, I'm like this. Oh my God, what's wrong with my brain? I want to leave you alone. You are so beautiful and attractive that I want you. I am so crazy. If I am like this, you will not dare to go out with me anymore. I only have feelings for you. Sincerely, not just wanting your thing. Do you ever solve it yourself? You never do. Really? Every girl or boy has needs. Okay, I am talking nonsense. Go to sleep." Next week, her husband will work the night shift. I was busy scrolling through Facebook when she texted me, "Have you slept yet?" "No, I haven't." "Do you miss me?" "Who would miss me?" "Really, sister? Let me see yours." "Well, mine is so pretty. Yours is so ugly." "No matter how ugly, I still want to see it. I love you, but whether it's pretty or ugly, I like everything about yours." "Well, if in the future you don't love me anymore and I send it around, it's a sin for you. Don't you trust me?" "I'm not that kind of a jerk." Finally, she relented and sent me a photo. "Wow, mine is so pretty, prettier than a 16-year-old girl. I can't stand it anymore. Okay, I won't ask for more. I'm going to bed." We still texted back and forth like that. "Sis, did you like it after seeing my stuff?" "No, at first I thought you were so rude, but later you manipulated me so I didn't feel uncomfortable anymore." "Psychologically manipulated you. I don't remember doing anything to you." "Well, mine is beautiful and big. So tell me, do you like it?" "Yes, I do. You have so much juice." "Send it to me." Then she sent me the video. It turned out she was relieving herself. "I really like it, sis. Come sleep with me." "Oh no, I'm not ready." "Don't be like that." I texted back to encourage her. "Well, I love you too, sis. You also have feelings for me. So don't make each other suffer anymore. Let's be together." Avery texted back, "If getting together was that easy, would everything in this world be in chaos? Having feelings for you is one thing, and that other thing is another. Don't make things difficult for me, I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me, are you upset?" "Yes, but just a little bit. Women are not like men. I can endure it." "Oh my God, how can I endure it? Go and relieve yourself." "Okay, thanks. I'll hang up." "So why did you hang up? Let the other person relieve themselves. I'm so embarrassed. I'm going to bed. Bye." Avery and I were still texting back and forth like that, and we both felt happy when sharing our most intimate things, our confidences, the shortcomings that her husband, via Arthur, could not make up for. Every time like that, Avery cried a lot. After that, she asked me to go out more often. At noon, she did not come home but waited for me in the Kajaput forest near the motel. I ran behind the bamboo bushes, sat on the saddle facing away, and she stood still, facing the wall. We were close to each other like lovers who had not seen each other for a long time. We kissed passionately and intensely. As we were about to get to that part, we heard the sound of a motorbike passing by, startling us. It turned out that the young men from the motel were coming back from drinking. Someone pointed, maybe they already knew us. I was also worried, and she said, "Oh well, let's do it another time. There are too many people today." Yes, sister, we both felt regretful. On the way home, Avery asked, "Are you uncomfortable? I'll take a shower and send you a picture when I get home." We laughed. That night, Avery took care of herself again and sent me a video. I smiled because I didn't expect her to really love me. After that Sunday, Avery's husband, Arthur, worked the night shift until the following Saturday. Today was the weekend, and some of her co-workers invited her out for a drink, and I invited her along. She came home from work, showered, and told her husband she was going to a friend's birthday party. She told him to eat dinner and go to work without waiting for her. Arthur, as usual, didn't pay any attention to her. I waited until no one was around and then ran out to greet her. Her co-workers thought she was pretty, so they kept inviting her to drink. In no time, Avery was drunk and leaned her head on my shoulder. Anyone who didn't know would think that she and I were husband and wife. We drank until almost 10 p.m. and then went home. I opened her room door, and as soon as she entered, she collapsed on the bed. She called her husband, and while she was on the phone, I went to my room to park my motorbike. My husband only asked if she had returned. She pretended to have returned early. After parking my motorbike, I locked the door, then sneaked into her room and closed the door tightly. Without another word, I pulled her into my arms, my lips finding hers in a passionate kiss. Her lips were soft and sweet, but also full of control, as if she knew exactly what she was doing. She returned my kiss, not in a hurry, but also not refusing. Her hands slid into my hair, pulling me closer. Her breathing mixed with mine, and I no longer had the strength to control myself. My hands slid down to her waist, pulling her closer to me. She didn't resist, just closed her eyes and let me lead. In the darkness of the room, we both rushed at each other like two crazy people, swept away by the endless stream of desire. I pushed her down on the bed, feeling as if all the long-suppressed desires were finally released. I was no longer myself, just a hungry beast, looking for every way to possess and possess her. My fingers slid over her smooth skin, each passionate kiss down to her neck, shoulders, and deeper. The soft sounds from her throat echoed in the darkness, full of sensuality but also contained a mysterious control, as if she knew everything in her hands. I hugged her tightly, pulling her into my arms with all the desire that had been suppressed for so long. My lips found hers, kissing fiercely like someone else finding water in the desert. Our kiss was no longer gentle or reserved, but burned like a fire bursting from desire. She responded to that kiss with no less enthusiasm. Her soft lips seemed to melt in each urgent kiss. My hands wandered over her body, exploring every curve as if to engrave it in my mind. I felt her cool skin under my fingers heating up with desire. She shivered slightly, her breathing becoming rapid as my hands moved down, gliding over her slim waist and then tightening around her hips, pulling her closer to me. She did not resist. Her soft body seemed to melt into mine, accepting every lead without hesitation. The atmosphere between them was thick with long-suppressed desire. All rules, all boundaries were broken in that moment, leaving only two people rushing into each other as if this was the last time they could live in uncontrolled passion. I pressed her down on the bed, my lips leaving hers and sliding down her neck, gradually penetrating every inch of her skin, Each of my kisses left a mark on her slender shoulder, causing her to utter small sounds like invitations, like a needle pricking my last control. She whispered, her breath ragged in the sublime emotions that were flooding her body, but I did not answer. I leaned deeper, greedily taking every part of her body as if I could not stop. My fingers slid along her spine, feeling every subtle reaction as her skin trembled under each touch. She wrapped her arms around my neck, pulling me down as if she wanted us to become one, with no space between us. The scent of her body, faintly scented with perfume, made my mind dizzy. I didn't know where I was, nor did I care what awaited them after tonight. Only this moment was all, a moment that I couldn't let go of, even though I knew it would bring unforeseen consequences. They were wrapped tightly around each other, their movements becoming more and more urgent and wild, their hurried breathing mixed together, filling the quiet room. In that moment, I was no longer me, just someone lost in a fairyland, losing all control in front of the woman in front of me. She didn't say another word, just closed her eyes and let me take over every part of her body. Her hands threaded through my hair, pulling me closer, as if afraid that if she let go, this moment would disappear. In the thick darkness, they entangled with each other, their bodies tightly pressed together, like two people clinging to each other in the midst of a flood. Every breath, every touch was like fire burning away any remaining rationality. The room seemed to turn into another world, a world of only the two of them, where there was no right or wrong, no tomorrow, only tonight, and the dream of the limitless ninth cloud. Finally, when everything reached its climax, both of us collapsed on the bed, exhausted, relaxing. My limbs went limp. I hugged her, my breathing still heavy. She rested her head on my chest, her breathing gradually slowing down, steady as if nothing had just happened. In the dim darkness, the two of us didn't say anything to each other, just quietly enjoying the brief peace after the storm of emotions. I closed my eyes, hugging her tightly, as if wanting to keep the last bit of warmth before everything disappeared. After a while, she moved slightly, leaned close to my ear, and whispered in a hoarse but sweet voice, "So wonderful." Her words were like a light knife that passed through my mind, leaving a deep cut that could not be healed. I knew that I should not hope for anything more, but how could I not miss her when every moment with her was imprinted in my mind? So from then on, the image of Ms. Avery replaced my first love, Ms. Owen. After finishing my apprenticeship, I returned to my hometown to open a motorbike repair shop in the district town. There was a lot of work and business was good. That time, I went to Miss One's house and saw her picking vegetables. My niece and I were both happy and sad. One was a beautiful girl from the lowlands, but her beauty was ill-fated. As for Mr. and Mrs. Avery and Arthur, they had moved to their hometown in Tai Bin to work for a company near their home. I returned to my hometown to start a business and develop my career. Now I realize one thing. I had unintentionally, just because of desire, destroyed the happiness of another family. Luckily, Avery and I were not discovered. In my hometown, Ms. Owen was still waiting for me to come back. She hugged me and cried. Memories of the well and a year of being close to her came flooding back. For the past 3 years, she had been waiting for me to come back. Even though she waited in vain, even though she lacked her needs, she did not look for strangers. So I admired her will. A wedding took place. The groom was me, Arthur, 22 years old. The bride was her third brother, 7 years old. The wedding was grand. Everyone congratulated the couple. So the story has come to an end. My first love had the best ending. Avery kept her happy family and returned to her hometown with her husband. I returned to my hometown and found my first love. Everyone found their own happiness and returned to their beloved hometown. What a happy ending. Ladies and gentlemen, our story today will stop here. If you find this story interesting, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment about your thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next interesting stories. Each like, share, and subscribe from you will be the motivation for Jane and the program's production team to create more interesting videos. And now I would like to say goodbye and see you again in the next videos. Wish you all a wonderful day.